I love this. This is my favorite thing to do. Dig into the nuts and bolts of somebody's plan. And it's not rocket science that you have to do. I'm not telling you to go out and do anything crazy. It's literally doing less and just doing it better, you know?
Today you get to meet Alli. Now, Alli was one of the winners from leaving a podcast review. So if that is not a hint and you have not left a review, go do it. Because sometimes I'm just like out of the whimsy, I just will pick a person. And I've done a handful of these, but this one we decided to go ahead and make public for you. I've done a handful as of late as far as like winners, but I do these physique assessments quite frequently, still sort of behind the scenes, even though I don't really advertise that I do them anymore. But the way that a physique assessment works, I'm just going to give you the rundown real quick, just Cliff's notes, is a lot of times women are stuck and they're like, I don't know what I should be doing with my hands. And then I tell you what to be doing with your hands. And sometimes it's less shit than you're already doing. And then that's like a giant, big, fat fucking permission slip to knock your shit off and like do this other stuff. And that's really what this call is about. Okay. But the context here is that most of the time when women submit a physique assessment, they give me all their data, they give me their photos, and then I sit down. I have a certain day of the week where I do those. I look over everything, and my job is to read between the lines. Okay. And what I mean by that is when you work with us in a one-on-one capacity, you will fill out an intake form. You'll notice everything is with intention, right? Like you apply to work with us because that's an intention. We want to make sure that when you apply, you're really ready to like do the fucking work, right? Like this isn't well, you just hand me a meal plan and like tell me what to do. It's sometimes telling you what you shouldn't be doing. Okay. Because sometimes we're our own worst enemies. So with the physique assessments, everything's submitted and then I submit a video back. Usually the video, if you've had one of these done, it's well over 20 minutes and it's me going into exhaustive length into what I think you should do with your health and fitness, given the information that you've given me and the photos that I'm looking at. And oftentimes there's lots of little nuggets of extra life work things that are in there that I suggest are a priority over other things. And so this conversation was a very beautiful one. And Alli, I'm sure you're listening. And I just want to tell you thank you because I think after someone listens to this, it will either inspire them in their own journey or have them take action or give themselves some permission to be a little bit softer with their approach. Okay. So with this one was a little bit different. I wanted to make it a little bit more, a lot more meaningful. And so if I pick a winner from the reviews, it's a one-on-one FaceTime call with me, not FaceTime, but Zoom call in IRL, but not, we're digitally doing this shit. And what I had her do, what I have these winners do is I want you to go through the full intake process of feeling what it's like to have to answer these questions about your current health history, your eating habits, because there's an awareness that needs to be brought to the surface. And as you're going through that, if you sit down and you do it with time and you do it with intention and you really take a look at the questions on our intake, they're there for a reason. And there were several things that stuck out to me very prominently when it came to Alli's situation, because she looks like she's doing everything right on paper. And a lot of it she's like 75% there. And I offered her some feedback. Now, this was not like there's no pitch for coaching. This is literally like if you run with the things I'm going to tell you, I have a really good chance feeling that you're going to have some success because I have a little bit of a street cred, right? Like my clients are getting the results and they have over the years, right? Like all of our clients, when they listen, when they're ready to like receive that information. And I feel like Alli was really in a spot where she was ready to receive that information. She was dealing with some personal things, which I'll let her, kind of elaborate through this podcast. But really what I want you to take away is that she was coming to me to help her understand how she could optimize her physique to be a competitor in the future. Okay. And so the way that my mind works as a coach is not like, oh yeah, I could give you the perfect glute program and this and that and bebop you around and get you on stage. That's a no-brainer. That's the easy part. That's not like, I don't want to say it's not fun for me, but that's easy. I can program, like it comes like the back of my hand, right? But The fun stuff for me is teaching you things along the way that you are going to learn about yourself and the process that are going to make you a lot happier, a lot quicker. Okay. It's like we want to get to that happiness feeling that you feel like you're chasing when you get to the stage or whatever. I want you to get that sooner. And then like the stage is just like a fucking bonus. Right. So any hoozle, I'm going to let you into the episode. It's a really good one. And actually, spoiler alert, Alli ended up coming in and applying for our coaching. And so stay tuned because I can't wait to just see this beautiful woman unfold and really step into everything that's waiting for her as a 6'1", you heard it right, 6'1" mama who is busting her ass to stay on track with her health and fitness goals as best as she can and still be a good mom. And I can't wait to share her story in like a year from now. It's just going to be phenomenal. It's going to be wonderful. So enjoy this. And if you like this episode, make sure to share it with a friend, share it with somebody today who maybe is in a spot where they're not sure if what they're doing is right and they kind of just need to hear the story of someone else that might be doing something similar to them and what my suggestions as a health and fitness and life coach are, right? So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, enjoy. She's a sweetheart and we had a great time chatting.
What makes you interested in it? Why are you curious about it? How serious is that in, your goal setting really right now?
Yes. I'm still back and forth. I'm still listening to your podcast and you always talking about like only 1% of people can say that they've done this. I love doing that. I was in the military. I think your oldest son was.
Yes, for 8 years.
Do that. I love doing what not a lot of people can say that they've done.
Yeah.
We talk about rocking chair regret, and I don't want to go through this and then regret not doing it.
What excites you about it?
Stepping out of my comfort zone because I am very shy. I don't like all eyes on me. I get very nervous. Getting out of my comfort zone for sure.
Okay. Yeah, you will definitely be doing that for sure. Okay. So when it comes to the training piece of things, I'm going to be, my ADHD is going to have me everywhere, but walk me through what a typical day looks like for you from kind of like a regular, let's just say like a glute day, right? From start to finish, your eyes blink open, your feet hit the ground running. What does that usually look like for you?
So I get up around 2 to go to the gym because my husband goes to work. So I got to get my workout in usually. I'll get up, drink EAAs. Yeah. And then she has my workouts in the app. So I'll go through that, do cardio, come back home and try to sleep for a little bit before the kids wake up.
Okay. So you get up at 2 a.m. in your bedtime. When's your bedtime usually?
If I'm lucky, 11. Okay. I know.
Okay. We'll get into that in a little bit. Okay. So I have here you're training 5 days a week. Is that still pretty accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So run me through what a general glute workout looks like for you.
Okay. Like there's the abduction, there's some cable RDLs, step ups, glute step up. It's usually about 4 to 5. Like do you want me to pull it up? I could actually tell you what I did.
That would be great if you don't mind. Just out of curiosity, because I think, looking at your pictures, it's obvious that you train, you know how to train, you're very lean. I definitely have questions about how long you've been in a deficit and all that fun stuff. I think I'm looking at this like as if I was a judge and I said, okay, what should she be working on in the gym right now? That's where I really would like to give you the most, feedback.
Okay. And Wednesdays are glutes, abduction machine, lunge, single leg side press, cable RDL, high pulley glute press down.
Okay. Do you get to do any hip thrusts, barbell hip thrusts, barbell bridges?
At the beginning, I started working with her in November.
Okay.
And I remember doing it at the beginning.
Okay.
But the exercise change every month and a half, 2 months.
Okay. I'm just going to take a little bit of notes here for you, okay? So you do body part splits. Can you tell me what that looks like? So you've got glutes on Wednesday.
Yeah. Monday, lower body. Tuesday, shoulder and abs. Wednesday, glutes. Am I going too fast? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Thursday, back bicep. Friday, lower body / triceps and abs.
Okay. So you hit lower body on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it looks like, right? Does that sound about right? Okay. Do you mind running me through what your Monday lower body? I know I'm being so annoying right now, but it's so helpful for me to just give you some feedback on your training for sure. So I'm really interested in what your lower body training looks like, really, more than anything. So like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Monday was dumbbell sumo squat, quad extension machine hamstring curl, the high pull press down.
Okay.
There's 4 sets of each.
Okay. And then Friday looks like you do a little bit too. Yeah.
Barbell sumo deadlift, kickstand machine hamstring curl, and abductor machine. And the triceps are crossbody push-up.
Okay. All right. And you're currently doing cardio too, 5x25. Does that sound right?
Yeah, she actually just changed it. Well, she's changed it a couple times since I put that in. So now we're all the way down to 3 days a week at 15 minutes. She's
okay. That's not too terrible. What are you hitting for cardio?
As far as like machine, I do.
Okay. And then you hit 10,000 steps a day, which is pretty good. Sleep 5 hours. And this is your 5 hours a day is a culmination of it's split up, right? So you come home and
typically I slept in today actually. So I got my workout in later.
Okay. So otherwise, how many hours would you say you're getting, like real talk?
I mean, split up, it's the lower amount. Today, I think I got about 6.5.
Okay. And then when you're sleeping, how's that quality of your sleep? Is it like, are you like a rock pretty much? Do you feel like you're getting pretty solid sleep?
No, I have my 2.5 and 4.5-year-old, and she's been waking up. So if she stirs a little.
Okay. So you're training fasted, sounds like with EAAs, right? When you come home, is that like right when you get meal one in, or is it just back to bed and then eat later?
Back to bed and eat. I'll have BCAAs after, but eating comes later.
Okay. And then you're at 1,600 calories, protein 130, carbs 176, fat 42.
That's been bumped up to, I think, twice since I put that in.
Okay. What are you at now?
Today, she put me at 2,004 calories.
Okay.
So 35 protein, 231 carb, 60 fat.
231 carbs, 60 fats. And then protein was 135?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where she lowered my stairs, or running her stairs 3 times 15 minutes.
When do you usually think your first meal is? If you had to guess most days.
Around 11 or 12.
Okay. Okay. And I looked at your food, kind of as you wrote it down, just kind of like your sample days of eating and all that good stuff. You have an idea, you know exactly what you need to be doing. So that's great, right? You have some, what I would say, like processed foods, but it's nothing crazy. Like you have like Kodiak cakes in there and stuff, but you have a lot of whole foods, it seems like, in your diet. Would you feel like that's accurate? Like you have a good understanding of whole foods. One thing I look at, and I'm glad that you gave me some really good data there, is I like to make sure that I tell girls, like, try to mix up your proteins throughout the day. So you have like egg whites in there and eggs and turkey, and I think I saw beef in there. So that's good. Keep doing that, where you're getting a variety of proteins in your day. Because a lot of times, especially as a busy mom, and I see moms do this all the time, they just stick to like chicken breast because it's easy. They'll just bulk a bunch and then that's what they eat. So, and I fall into that trap too sometimes, but I really try to, vary those proteins, because beef is really important. A lot of people don't, they have like all these preconceived notions that it's bad for you and this and that. And of course, ideally in a perfect world, it's grass-fed or, grain finished beef. At the end of the day, if you can get beef in daily, that's going to work in your favor for sure.
You have a fat percentage preference?
You know what? It's a little bit different for every client, just based on where they're at. But I think for where you're at right now, you're really lean. She's got your fats up at 60. You could probably do a 90-10 and, do a little bit more fat. Some of my clients, if we're in a prep scenario, it's like, I might be having them do like a 98 or a 96 or something, but you could probably afford to have those fats and be totally fine. Okay. Supplements looked pretty good. You have a really great baseline. So I usually really like to err on the side of conservative for that with my clients, and just adding things in as you need them. But you've got omegas, you've got creatine, you've got EAAs, all the good baseline stuff. So I wouldn't say anything there probably needs to be changed, quite frankly. How is your flexibility and your mobility, like aches, pains, injuries, anything like that?
It's good. I mean, sometimes I need some stretching out, but overall, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Does she have you send in training videos at all ever? Like just to kind of see how your training's going?
No, we have questions, but other than that, no.
Okay. Just something to think about. Have you ever worked with a personal trainer?
In person, no.
Okay. Okay. So I think it's something just to think about is asking her, hey, could you take a look at this, make sure I'm doing it right, see if that's available to you. Just because I see a lot of women training in the gym in vain, right? They're training for years. In fact, one of my clients, Leanne, she wouldn't mind if I shared this with you. She's had several coaches. She's in her mid 50s. She's working with me for a photo shoot at the end of November. And I said, I'm kind of annoying, but I'm like, okay, I need these like 5 videos by your next check-in. And I pull them up when I'm doing her check-in, and she does not know how to do a sumo squat with a dumbbell. And she's like, I've been doing it this whole time. And I'm like, that's why you don't have glutes. So we've been working for 6 weeks. Every week she sends me a video, and I'm like literally pulling it apart. She probably wants to kill me, but now they're beautiful, right? And now she's like, my glutes are finally sore. So just something to consider, maybe asking her, hey, like, can I send you a video? It's not always the most exciting and fun thing to like put up your camera and take a video, when people are around, but just ignore them. It's fine.
Either between form or not going heavy enough is probably.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the two things. That's the 2 reasons why we look at it, is we want to assess intensity and we want to assess your form. And, I think especially for you, because you're very unique in that your limbs are a lot longer than most of the general women walking around. And so your form probably needs to be looked at more so, just because there's, your levers are very different. I've trained women 6 feet in person, and it's a very different experience than training clients who are the average of like 5'3", right? And I'm sure you're like, yes, I've lived with them my whole life. Trust me, I know. Right. So definitely something to think about. Okay. What else do I have on here? My 80 million questions. Are you doing anything else? Like, are there any other movement practices that you enjoy doing? Right. Like some people love swimming or Zumba or biking or anything like that. Is there anything else that you like comes to mind for you?
Before kids, I used to do heat yoga. Like I have time to do that now. Or I don't know if that's around here. I guess I'm in Florida now.
Okay.
I mean, I guess time. I mean, swimming would be fun, but I don't know when I would do that. We have a pool at our community center.
Yes.
But never tried it, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Just out of curiosity, because I am going to make some suggestions that you might not be particularly overjoyed with, but that's why you're here, right? I always like to preface by saying, I'm going to tell you probably what you need to hear from a perspective of like movement and, longevity going into it, but it's definitely going to be, it'll be in your best interest for sure. Okay. So, and you work out at Planet Fitness, correct?
Yes. Or if it's not in the morning, then we have a cable machine here, or like cable Smith machine. Is that what it's called?
A little cable machine. Okay. Anything that you do for like meditation, journaling, spirituality, therapy, any of those things present for you right now?
Actually, funny you say that. I just listened to that episode again where that 7 habits. I reached out to a therapist. That was my goal before we started talking. So I've talked to her twice.
Okay.
Not yet, but it's a step. I've met her twice.
You're not jiving with her, is that what you said?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna give her one more try.
Okay.
But I think therapy in general is good. Definitely hard work. Like I do. I think that helps.
Okay, good. Is she giving you like some tools to work through on your own, or not? Not quite.
She sent me something. I think she's a counselor versus a psychologist or whatever, therapist, but she's given me some resources or suggested a few things.
Okay, good.
And then I journal a little bit when I'm at the gym. I'll do like a massage chair, do some writing, but.
Good. Yeah, that's super important. Okay. And then the last one, and one of the most important that I really wanted to just chat with, well, 2 things really, but I know you did mention, because of course on our sheet, we have to ask all the things, and it asks about alcohol consumption. How are we doing with that right now?
Still consuming.
Okay. No judgment in that. I have a history myself, so I totally understand. And when things happen, and, obviously I only imagine what that's like for you, dealing with stuff like that. So this will definitely be something that, if we're talking in the bodybuilding sense and building muscle and hormones and all that, is definitely something you're going to want to, really get a handle on. And it's, obviously this is all stuff you already know, but from the muscle building, I'm going to give you that information, because sometimes that is helpful when you're going through certain situations and you're like, okay, this isn't in my highest good because I know that this is what the effects are. And so when we're talking about a couple things, right? I know you had mentioned one of your goals was flat and lower tummy, right? And I notice a little bit of distension there for you too. Alcohol, when we're talking about hormones, it really spikes your estrogen levels and it really will throw off estrogen or progesterone. And oftentimes the side effect of that is indeed that lower belly abdomen kind of issue, right? And I've seen it in a handful of clients over the years, just it pops up. And so we have that, we have the cortisol spike. So then you also are dealing with that as a result of the alcohol too. And we know that increased cortisol is going to lead to that increased stress hormone, is just that belly fat in general. And then my other concern for you, my friend, is that it is a huge disruptor of sleep. So it sounds like, if I had to guess, you're probably firing on all cylinders between being a mom and trying to have a side hustle and trying to hit your gym goals and running on very little sleep. And then the alcohol is not going to give you much rest. So this is like, I like to get to the deeper stuff because it's going to make the biggest change. And I know that's got to be on your timeline, right? Like, I know this is something that is on your timeline, but I think the sleep, the alcohol, and the other thing I had on here was your sugar-free foods, which I know we love so much because their calories are low. But now you've got 2,000 calories. So you don't necessarily need to do too much sugar-free, even though it'll give you more calories somewhere else. But what I would love to see for you is I would love for you to pull out all that sugar-free crap. And this is coming from a sugar-free addict who used to order cases of Walden Farm syrups during prep and literally was like putting it on fucking everything. Okay. What's that?
The zero sugar syrup every morning. It's not Walden Farm, but
yeah, I mean, they're one in the same devil family. So I would love to see you pull that out. And that's a tough one. I'm working with some clients right now, and that's like, it's a battle. But the sooner you do, the better your gut will feel, the less bloating you'll have, the less water you will retain. You'll feel, I mean, you may not notice it right now, but you start to feel it like in your joints and things like that. It just kills your natural gut biome. Oh, alcohol does too. And then lack of sleep does too. And then the sugar free. So you have like this perfect storm of stuff that's destroying your natural gut bacteria. And so
to it, or what about the sugar free?
It kills off your natural gut flora. So the
whatever added to it versus sugar.
Yes. Yes. So the fake sugar alcohols will do that. So it's one of these things where I'd love to see you eating more naturally sweet foods. So maybe instead of doing a sugar-free syrup, you get some berries, right? Maybe buy blueberries or raspberries or something. And you can put a little bit of water and like muddle them and kind of heat them up in the microwave, give them a little bit of substance, or even like a tablespoon of maple syrup, like pure maple syrup with like some blueberries, pop them in the microwave for 30 seconds and make yourself like your own little like blueberry compote or something. That's what I used to do to make it feel fancy. But I think that those things are going to be tremendous for your gut stuff. And because you're so lean that what you're dealing with is not fat. It's not fat. You might be able to pinch a little bit there, because you've had kids and their skin and, all that. But what you're pinching is probably water retention between the skin with a little bit of fat. And all of it is really coming from just some GI distress from a lot of the things that are going on. I mean, poop is a very personal thing, but I talk about it all the time with my clients. How are you in that department?
It's every day. Not always solid.
Not solid?
Not always. Sometimes.
Okay. We hit the nail on the head there. So like frequent loose stools, like we talking watery, cottage cheesy, like how is it?
It's either solid or the watery.
Okay. Okay. So we need to get your gut healthy. Okay. And the reason why that you're probably like, I just want you to tell me what workouts and cardio to do. Well, the thing is because everything you're eating obviously passes through your GI. And if your GI is kind of in this, like, I don't want to say dysfunctional state, but it's not healed and it's not functioning, you're not going to absorb the nutrients from your food and you're not going to build muscle. So it like has to start with cleaning that up. I fought this so bad until I hired my last coach. And my last coach for my pro show I was so embarrassed because he was like, Dee, you're eating Walden Farms? Those give you soggy glutes. And I'm like, I love syrup. I love sweet things. And there's like nothing really sweet in a bodybuilding diet. So he like put pineapple in there. Pineapple's another one. It's really great for your GI. It has natural digestive enzymes. Papaya, which is another one, but I'm not really a fan. And just finding those fruits that are really good to feed your natural like gut biome is going to help. Yeah. So that's what I would say with that is we got to get you on that. And then I didn't even look to see, because I didn't know we were going to get into this lovely conversation, if you are taking anything for your gut, like digestive enzymes or probiotics or anything like that.
Yes. 1 in the morning, digestive enzyme.
Okay. So with the digestive enzymes, you might want to consider taking one before every meal, which I know is kind of annoying and like one more thing to do, but helping your body kind of break down your food is going to be super helpful right now because your GI is probably not doing it on its own. So digestive enzymes, they're usually very helpful for breaking down proteins and a lot of the proteins that are in plants and cellulose and all that stuff that your body has a harder time digesting. And so that might be something super useful for you to just kind of pick up right away. Okay. So my conclusion here with everything, and then, I'll open this up for you to just, we can have some conversation around. Your calories are looking better. I was a little bit concerned because they were super low. Actually, give me a little bit of insight on that. How long were you at that 1,600 calories?
That started in November. So yeah, I think I was very first started at like 1,300, but then I stopped. So when I emailed you, I think March, I was at was it 1,600? Is that what it was? March.
Okay.
And then she just raised it maybe a week ago and then raised it again today.
Okay. How much are you weighing right now?
I weighed it at 148 this morning.
148. Okay. So if you were my client, these are the steps I would say we need to take. Okay. I think you're on the right track in terms of your body composition for a competition. However, there's some things I would want to triage first for probably, it depends, right? Everybody's a little bit different, but probably like 3 to 6 months. It would be your sleep, it would be your digestion, and it would be cutting out some of these sugar-free foods. And I would really overhaul your training. But your protein also needs to go up, right? You're 150 pounds, you're 6'1", you're a busy woman, you have a lot of demands. I would be putting you at 150 grams of protein at least for starters, because you don't want to crank that up too fast because it will cause more issues with your stomach. So I would start to bump you up a little bit there and really start at like 150. That shouldn't be too bad. You're at 135. It's not a huge leap in terms of how many grams you're adding. So I would do that. I would likely take you off all cardio and I would keep you on just steps. So explain to me, is she kind of putting you in a little bit of a build phase right now?
Building/boost. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would be staying here for probably, at least the next 3 months and even going higher if you can with your calories, right? You're 150 pounds, you're 6'1". Yeah. I would love to see you around 2,500 calories, quite frankly. And that, you raise your eyebrows. I know, crazy. But the reason being, and like, not an overnight thing, but over the course of the next like 3 to 6 months, because, you have to think your limbs are so long and we have to build muscle, and that's got to come from food. And you're doing a lot of energy, you're not getting enough recovery. And that's some other things I'm going to mention too, but I would like to see you up in that closer to the 2,500 calorie range so we can put some solid muscle on you. So when it's time for you to prep and we strip you back down to hopefully not 13 and 1,400 calories, it would be more like 16, hopefully maybe even 18, you are fuller, right? You have fuller muscle. You're not looking too stringy, not too, too lean like that. That's not the look they want anymore, right? So we would want nice, bubbly, round muscle, and that's going to take some time. So that would be my suggestion with your food. I think fats are great, keeping them at 60. I personally think taking up your carbs a little bit over the weeks would also be a good idea. So right now you're at like 231. my rule of thumb when I'm putting somebody in kind of a reverse diet or a recovery phase or something is 100 calories a week and assessing, right? So where does that 100 calories need to come from? It can come from protein or it can come from carbs. I wouldn't add any more fat. I would leave your fat where right there where it's at and just assess, like, am I putting on too much fat? Am I staying pretty relative? And you'll know, right? Like your clothes will fit different and measurements and things like that. And visually you'll be able to tell, but I want you to not be afraid of that process because it's definitely, going to be needed for sure. So cut the cardio. That's what I would do with your food. I would definitely overhaul your training. I would have you doing hip thrusts, barbell bridges, dumbbell RDLs, probably a bit more quad work, if I'm being honest, just to fill out your legs a bit more, just to balance out your frame because you have a great frame for all of this. It's just we got to put muscle in the right spots. I don't think you need that much upper body. And that's going to be the next piece of my conversation is if you are saying what I would do with you, okay,
No.
I would probably cut your training back to 3 to 4 days. Okay, hear me out. 3 to 4 days. One day would be a full upper body day. You don't need to split this all over the place because you're not a male bodybuilder, right? So I would just do one full upper body day. And by full, I mean, you don't need to do chest. So I don't know if she has you doing chest, but you wouldn't need to do any chest. So it'd be just like, let me take a look at your pictures here so I can give you a better suggestion. It would be, honestly, your back width is great. And I say that because we need to actually grow your butt out bigger. We need to get you a good donk, friend. So we don't really need your upper body to get too much wider than it already is. It's perfect, actually. So I would say, maybe a couple back exercises that day, and then really just shoulders and maybe one bicep and one tricep exercise. You don't need a ton. In fact, you probably don't need any, but if you need to scratch that itch, I would say one bicep exercise, one tricep exercise, a nice little superset, and like 2 sets. That's really all you need because you're pretty defined in your upper body. Would you agree?
Yes, I think because it's my favorite to do.
Yes. So that needs to kind of take a little bit of a backseat. And then what we need to do is really need to focus on the heavy hitters for your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads, so you right on track with like the hamstring training, the glute training, the quad training. Okay. No. And then again, I would take you off cardio personally. It's kind of unnecessary. You get enough steps, what is it? 10,000 as a minimum usually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would definitely suggest that. Now, you're probably like, well, what do I do with my hands? I'm so used to getting up and going to the gym. Sleep. I'm so excited for you. You are going to sleep. Bitch, you need sleep.
I do.
You need sleep. Okay. You cannot be an effective human for the humans that need you running on 2 hours of sleep. Fuck a bodybuilding show. Okay. So I'm not saying it's not in the cards, but I'm just saying the sleep is going to interfere with everything. It's going to interfere with your ability to build muscle, to recover, like all the things, to digest your food, like all of it. So that's where I'm going to be the hardest on you is the sleep. And also, digging deep into the alcohol stuff and seeing how we can, how you can get some support around that. So it is starting to make an exit and you can start to rest, right? You can start to rest. That's what Alli needs.
You're right.
Okay. Talk to me. How does this all land for you?
I love it. It's great. Yeah. Do you still work at Venus? Are you in the studio?
I am not in the studio. No, the studio's in Cali and I am in Vegas.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So no, the only thing I do is not the only thing I do. Okay. I run that whole thing from here on my laptop. And then I have online clients and then I have online coaches under me that also train our clients too.
If you ever compete again, I got to know.
When am I going to compete again?
Would you ever, will you? Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I definitely have because I get asked a lot. And I did the Angel Competition Bikini Fashion Show last year, and I put myself into a little bit of a mini cut. I didn't hire a coach for it or anything. I think I lost 12 or 15 pounds or something. And I don't like being hungry. I've decided I've been hungry for too many years and it's not a fun feeling for me. It really triggers a lot of like just binge eating tendencies and like FOMO with food. And like, it's just, It's not a good thing for me. And it's like, I love it so much. I love it so much. It's like you said, it's stepping you out of your outside of your comfort zone and something, and it's like got this appeal to you. And it was the same thing for me. But for me now, it's like the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and I feel terrible because I'm a bodybuilding coach and I'll take you through it. Like I just took Christine through it. I don't know if you've seen me post her on my stories. She's another online influencer. She's got like 1 million followers. Anyways, I'm working with her and she did phenomenal and all that. But it's like, it's been a lot of just like, listen, I'm going to tell you, this is what we have to do, but this is what can possibly happen. And it's coming up because it happens to everybody usually, but she's prepared for it and we're like handling it and managing it. But yeah, for myself, I think that ship has sailed.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just saving the woman of the world from sleeping only 2 hours.
More just broken up.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely, it'll make a huge deal. I would love to see you getting a lot more sleep and then hitting the gym 3 days a week. And just those 3 days are really fucking good days, right? Like you're getting really good workouts because you've been rested and you can go heavy and all the things. The one other thing I will mention too, that I would love to see you also change is on the days that you're training, when you're done training, you got to get some food in. And I know that you're going to sleep on a lot of those days to get like a few more hours and probably start your day and all the things. But I mean, before your head hits that pillow after the gym, even if it is a protein shake with some almond milk and a banana, I don't give a shit. Like it just needs to be some amino acids and it needs to be some carbs because those two things are what you need to start immediately the recovery process after your training. And what better time to have that and then just lay down and get some more rest, definitely is going to make a huge improvement in your energy too. Yeah, for sure. So much good stuff. I love this. This is my favorite thing to do is just like dig into the nuts and bolts of somebody's, plan and just say like, it's not rocket science that you have to do. I'm not telling you to go out and, do anything crazy. It's literally doing less and just doing it better, Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel about all this? Is this disheartening in any way? Does this feel like helpful? Let me know where you're at with kind of the whole process.
It's helpful for sure. I don't know if as far as when I'd want to do it, I don't know if I need the kids a little bit older so they're in school. So I have more time to be able to do stuff on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's helpful. So you still coach, obviously.
Yes.
Are you like capped out? How do you?
No, I'm not. I can send you information on all that stuff too. I'll tack it onto your call notes here and you can chew on it, and think about it. This is absolutely zero obligation for anything there, but I will absolutely include it for you working with me versus working with my coach. My coach is on my team. I think for you really, honestly, you just need these little tweaks and you need a really solid training program and you'll be fine on your own for a minute, just like with the training and like the food and all that, because you have the dedication. I just think we need to get you a little bit more muscle and all that fun stuff there. It wouldn't be unrealistic to put you on stage. What are we at? We're in May, June, like spring of next year,
Okay.
Right? Like take the time to get all this stuff like fixed and, and the reason why I say that is because any coach, if you went and decided you wanted to hire, I don't know, Team Elite Physique or whatever, these big name coaches, love them, like there's certain coaches that are great. And then it just depends. You got to get the pick of the draw, the good ones. But if you pay them, they'll put you on a stage most of the time. They might just like have a couple things, but like I don't want you leaving the experience saying like, oh, this fucked up my hormones, or now like I don't, I can't use the restroom properly, or now I have this like unhealthy relationship with food and like all this thing. And a lot of people think that they're immune to that. And it's like, you're not. Like we've put well over 150 women on stage in the last 10 years. And it's hard pressed to find anybody who's a magical unicorn that isn't going to have these things come up at some point, right? It's just the human body and the nature of bodybuilding being so regimented and so strict that, it's worth it for you to just take that extra time and set yourself up right so you have a great experience, right? Like your first show should be a great experience. It shouldn't be like one time I was backstage with a girl and I was there with my clients coaching. I had 14 girls backstage and she did not have a coach. And so I tend to do this and I'm like, here, just come hang out with us. Like she was by herself and poor girl, like didn't know how to pose. She had problems with her urination. Like she couldn't like hold her pee in, like something was going on. And like, it was the exercises her coach was having her do. And she's telling me, and I'm just like, what is happening with these coaches? Coaches have gone wild. They're doing the weirdest shit with their people and like having them do the weirdest things backstage that make absolutely no sense. And it's a lot of times it's coaches that have done like one or two shows and they did really well. A lot of times because they have great genetics, let's be honest. And then everybody thinks, oh my God, you did great. You won first place, whatever. Throw their money at them to like, and then they just do exactly what they did to win to this person, but that person is not the same, right? Like everybody is very unique and comes to the table with different challenges and different strengths. And I think a really good coach has to be okay with saying, I don't think we should put you on stage this year. Let's work on these things. And then next year you'll be that much better for it, So that's my philosophy. Yeah. But it's a good time. It's fun. Like I said, you have all the makings of being a fantastic competitor and you're so close to being there. I think putting you into a prep anytime sooner would send you over the edge, right? Because it's a lot. And with that amount of sleep and, the other things we mentioned, it wouldn't be in your best interest, I think, at the end of the day, for sure, with the outcome.
So bikini, I assume, would be the...
Yes.
Because I'm lacking a little bit in some muscle.
You're laughing?
Lacking in
some. Yeah. But honestly, we're not far off, right? Like even in your profile view, you can see, I can see definition where you have like a little bit of a hamstring split. So I can see that, you clearly have hamstrings. The thing with your glutes, from what I can see, is the problem is not the shape. It's just, we need more, right? Like my other client I was telling you about, she literally has been training with this trainer before she met me for a couple years. And she has no shape. Like they're fallen. That's the truth, right? The truth of the matter. And that's not the case here at all. We just need to get your butt bigger. That's it. Because it's perky. It's great. It's fantastic shape. We just need more. We need more junk in the trunk. And then your quads too, just build them out a little bit more too. Get them a little bit fuller. Is she having you do any oblique work? Because if you are, I would cut any oblique training out because you have a nice small waist already, and any oblique training usually makes small waists get too blocky. So I would say if you are, just make sure to just drop any of that.
Yeah, ab days there's always vacuums, but then other than that,
vacuums are good. Keep those in for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what are your action steps? What are you going to do?
Well, we're nearing the end of this 12-week challenge. I think we have a week and a half left. My husband's down almost 35 pounds. But
amazing.
But yeah, definitely look into more training, lower body, about 5 days a week, get more sleep.
Yes, get more sleep. Definitely. It'll be a good thing. I promise. It'll definitely be a good thing. All right, my dear. Well, I will let you get back to momming and doing all the things. Get to work, sleeping, eating, and training. That's your mission. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you for listening. And I appreciate you for, being vulnerable and sharing everything and an effort to just try to, reach your goals. It's super important. So thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay. You too. Bye, hun.
All right. What'd you guys think? Alli is the sweetest, isn't she? This is how I have conversations with people because it's exactly how I show up and it's exactly how I'm meant to deliver the information. And it's real time. It's real time stories. It's the wisdom of working with wonderful women over the years who I just helped them realize what they already knew was inside, right? Like I'm not showing you anything you don't know. You just need a reminder. Okay. And Alli just needed that reminder and I can't wait to just watch her journey unfold. So share this episode, share the goodness, help the podcast reach more women who need this message, right? Sometimes less is more. And I think we've all been guilty of that, right? Like I'm coming out of a period in a season of my life where more was just more. And now I'm like, oh, less is so much better. And I'm such a better human and person and my health is better for it. So I love you guys. Of course, the doors for coaching are open if you're interested in applying. The link is going to be in the show notes or in the description. So check that out if this resonates with you and you want a little bit more in your life and start stretching outside your comfort zone. We're here for you. Let's take a deep stretch together. All right. I love you.